Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Sons of Fishes podcast. We're here with our weekly weekend roundup, and with me today I have Tridib and I have Abhigyan. Tridib, Abhigyan, what's up? How has your days been?
Uh, been good so far. Just woke up. So, what about you, Tadek?
That's a great introduction, man. It's like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and you're just waking up. That's a
Yeah,
great sleep schedule right there. Yeah, but I'm doing well. It's a great weekend of football to look forward to. I'm not particularly happy with what happened midweek, with the Champions League. That was fucking horrible to watch.
Yeah, man, are you okay? Do you want to talk about that for a second? Have you gotten over that yet?
No, I went to a therapist and she was like charging by the hour. You know how they do that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
anyway, she was pretty helpful. Um, I
Did you
came out
sleep
of there
with your
not wanting to
therapist,
take
Tridib?
what?
Did you sleep with your therapist, Tridib?
No, not quite. But yeah, I came out of there not wanting to kill myself. So that was an improvement.
Oh,
Um,
that's nice.
yeah, good weekend of football to look forward to. So excited.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm guessing you guys want to come back strong after that performance in midweek. Um, so I guess Sevilla is the team that's going to face the Wrath.
Oh, we're gonna face Sevilla's wrath. We're messed up, man. Our confidence is on a all-time low. Our performance against Chelsea was nothing to write home about. It was terrible. And after like the post-game Eden Hazard situation got absolutely blown up by Spanish media, and I think that's going to affect some of the psychology around the dressing room, and it's not great.
But
But
what do you do in that situation, right? Like suppose you and I are old teammates, right? And you go to play for your university, let's say, and your university has a game against mine, and we kick your ass. And then after the game, I come up to you and I'm like, "Hey, man, it's been such a long time. What's up?" And off the pitch, we're close friends, right? So are you expected to not greet me in that fashion? Are you expected to not be happy for my
Well, this is
success?
the thing, right? Like the Spanish media, they did this with Bale as well. Like they did this with the whole Wales golf Madrid thingy as well, and now they're doing it with Hazard. I get why they're angry in the sense that Hazard shouldn't have been out there in the open doing that when we just got absolutely embarrassed. Like that was uncalled for. Um, but they are friends, and it just doesn't make sense to sort of exaggerate it to the extent that they did. From a Hazard point of view, I would still like to see that he sort of takes that inside and keeps that under wraps because the media is going to blow it up,
As a
unfortunately.
Real Madrid fan, are you completely writing off this chapter on Hazard, or are you still holding out hope for him?
I'm still high riding. I still have hope for him, but I apparently there are rumors that he's on the market and Real Madrid might sell him for 50 million or so. I just don't see a team who wants to buy Hazard at this point, given his injury record, and also given the fact that he's got four years left on his contract, and he won't agitate to leave either. So I think he stays, and especially if he plays well in the upcoming games, I think that gives us even more reason to keep him.
All right, all right. Abigail, as a
Yeah.
Barcelona fan, you must have enjoyed that
Oh,
midweek
yeah,
performance by
absolutely.
Chelsea
Absolutely.
and the after
Absolutely.
game show. Tell us what you thought,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. But then again, we have La Liga to look forward to. And one of the biggest problems this season for us has been is that we have failed to capitalize in a given moment. Every time we have had the opportunity to go up on the table, we have failed. You can, like for an example, you can look at the game at Granada. That was a must win, but we just let it go away. So yeah, that's the same problem I have here again. Like this week might be the deciding factor, but even if things turn out in our favor, I fear and in the coming weeks we might again draw or lose a game. Slipping once again, handing over the title to either one of the Madrid teams. So that's a big worry for me.
By the way, can I just butt in and sort of comment
Yeah, sure.
on how sharp Abhigan is looking today? Like he's got a he's got a great shave going on, and he just looks sharp, man. He looks up for it.
Nah, nah.
And apparently he just woke up. So yeah, compliments to him.
Yeah, that's a great getting out of bed
Yeah,
look. That's not bad.
Yeah.
And
thanks, guys.
his hair as well. I mean, if that's his bed hair, then I wonder what it's
Yeah,
going to look like after like an hour of doing it up, which he does, by the way.
Oh yeah.
uh, thanks,
By the
thanks.
way, fun
Yeah,
fact, fun fact. We before the game today, I was just like, hey, Abigail, is the game Barca Atleti or is it Atleti Barca? And he's just like, Oh man, people call it lots of things. And-
I was confused. I thought you might want to know what
Avigan had
you
a
thought.
brain fart. Avigan had a brain fart. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Let's give the
Uh,
benefit of
Yeah,
the doubt. And yeah, let's assume that he knew that I was referring to whether it was a home game or an away game, and let's move forward with that. So coming to that
uh,
game,
yeah,
the Barca Atleti game, right? Or is
yeah.
it the Atleti Barca game? Quick question.
That was
Whichever.
a great segue into the thing. That was a transition.
Nice. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, what do you think? This is obviously possibly the biggest game of your season, and
Yeah,
there's a lot riding on this. I mean, there's no Champions League silverware to
yeah,
look forward to.
yeah,
Uh, the La Liga is really hope, so there's a lot riding on this game. If you lose, both
yeah,
the Madrids benefit from it. If
yeah.
you win,
Absolutely.
you get to
Go
show the
on.
finger to both the
No.
Madrids.
Actually, this is one of the problem. If we win, we hand Madrid the advantage. Real Madrid, especially. If we win and Madrid also manages to win this coming game week against Sevilla, they go up on the table. So for them, we clear out a way for Atletico too and hand in the title. So as a
So you're in
Barca
between a
fan,
rock and a hard place.
exactly. As a Barca fan, a win, loss, or draw doesn't matter. We're still stuck anyway.
So do you
No, but
just want to
we
win for
had
pride?
Yeah, we just win for the pride because this season, especially, we haven't been able to turn up against the big teams. We have lost previously against Atletico Madrid at the starting of the season. We have lost twice against Madrid, against Juventus. We won a game though, but that was because majority of the players had injuries. But at the second game against Juventus, we lost 3-0. So it's been a big, like against big teams, we haven't been able to turn up. So it's really a big worry for me, for us Barca fans.
so yeah, that Juventus game I remember because they
Yeah,
required 3 goals to qualify first, and if you
yeah,
had lost by 3 goals, you would have been facing Porto instead of PSG. So that was
yeah,
that was hilarious. Um, but yeah, you spoke about how a win for you might not pan out the way you want because if we win, it gives us the initiative. I don't
yeah,
think that's necessarily true just because we have a tougher fixture schedule. So we have Granada away after this. Granada with the
yeah,
team so they're not the best team to come up against now. And we have Bilbao and Villarreal after that. Villarreal obviously in the Europa League semifinals,
yeah.
and Bilbao I think they beat Atletico Madrid a couple of weeks back. So
Yeah,
so it's we have a very tough fixture schedule. Uh, I don't think we're going to win all the games. I don't even think we're going to win the Sevilla game necessarily. Given our current form, especially so yeah, I'm not particularly optimistic. I still think that Atletico is the team to beat, the team to catch right now. And so the best result for from a Real Madrid perspective is that Barca draw Atletico and we beat Sevilla. That's the best case for us.
That takes you
Um,
level on points, right?
no, that makes us like 1 point. No, yeah, that leaves us ahead level on
No.
point. But we
Currently, Atletico Madrid is on 76 points. Real Madrid
yeah,
is on 74 points.
yeah,
So
so
if Atletico draw and you guys win, it's both of you at 77
yeah,
points.
but we go
yeah.
top because of our
They
head.
go top because the head-to-head fixtures. They go on top.
Yeah.
Isn't it decided by goal difference though?
It was previously, but from last year, I guess I suppose they've introduced a new rule that head-to-head counts.
Oh, so that means Real Madrid goes top of the table.
Yeah, because if you look at the table right now, Barca has a way higher goal difference right now, but still we're below them with the same points because of head-to-head fixtures.
Yeah.
Wow, that I did not know that, but whoa, that's massive. That means Barca really is in a tough spot right now.
Yeah,
No, but I think Atletico also have a tricky fixture coming up. They have Real Sociedad next week,
yeah,
which which is a tough game, man. Like Real Sociedad is fifth, I think, and they've
You
almost
yeah.
guys said that Sociedad is a tough fixture when United had a Europa League fixture against
Yeah,
them,
no, but
and they weren't
yeah,
so tough.
Sociedad is
uh,
that team where they have those days where they just like forget how to play
yeah,
football. So they had
and
one of those
yeah,
days against Barca, I think, and they had one of those days against you.
yeah.
For
No,
some reason, these teams always seem to turn up against us, which
yeah,
is
no, the thing is, the thing with the lower teams in La Liga is on a normal game week, they're just the usual selves. But against the big teams, especially against the top three, Atletico, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they just somehow turn up big for some unknown reason. And they are very defensive in those games. It's really hard to crack them down. And they use this as this advantage because we are spending most of our time cracking them down. But anytime, as soon as they get an opportunity for a counter attack, they try to capitalize on that as much as possible. Most of the times, they've lost because of that very defensive nature of those teams.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's very annoying. Like they retreat into low blocks and
Yeah,
then they hit you on the counter. I'm telling you, if if these small teams, like not, I don't want to call them small teams, but like mid
yeah,
table, lower table teams, they have some more efficiency in front of goal. If they had just a more clinical striker, they would be in a much better position than they are now. Like they play really
yeah.
well in situations, and Spanish football is very tactical. So breaking teams like that down is very, very difficult.
yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's very annoying when people have a defensive setup against you right from the get-go in any given fixture, especially these so-called mid-table teams. As a Manchester United team, a fan, I can vouch for the fact that those fixtures are, in fact, very annoying. I mean, everyone does that against us: Brighton, Crystal Palace, Burnley, and then we get completely dead. Like we get completely out attacked on the counter attack, and it's annoying to watch that. But I don't think that's going to play much of a part for the Barcelona Atletico game. I think the attacking onus will be on Barcelona, but I think Atletico Madrid will be equally attacking. So, Abhigan, I just want to say, how do you see the game going down? So, do you think that Atletico take a completely defensive stance, or do they go out attacking?
So the thing is with Atletico Madrid, they have this really annoying tendency of parking the bus, especially during important games. But against Barca, they have done this previously too. Like if you remember the last game, the game against Atletico Madrid back all the way in the starting of the season, how we considered the goal, it was mainly because they were completely defensive and they barely gave us an opportunity to attack. So most of our players went all the way up front, and we had barely no one in defense. And they got this one opportunity to counter attack, which we messed up while defending because Ter Stegen came all the way front and he couldn't receive the ball properly, and that was a goal. So I guess it's going to be the same thing. Simeone is going to implement the same tactics once again. Just frustrate the team out of your defensive play and just counter given the opportunity.
Although doesn't Barcelona pride themselves on their tiki taka and their ability to break down such defensives on a consistent basis?
Well, the thing is, it hasn't been the same ever since Enrique left. That was the last time we saw proper tiki taka. Now it's just like any other teams playing football, and we don't really have those players who get the very core of tiki taka. The fast pace, knowing where the player is gonna be, to make the runs. It's just not the same. We have only few players who do know how to do that. It's just Busquets, PK, Alba. You can see those runs he makes every time. Then Messi, obviously. These are the only few players, and the ones who have been able to imbibe that tiki taka has been only De Jong. That's it. So
All
it's
right, all right.
yeah,
Interesting. So,
yeah.
just quickly before we move on, I want to ask you how do you see yourself setting up to break down Atletico Madrid formation wise?
We're gonna go with the 3-5-2 formation once again. But one of the problem is Roberto and Dest. It's the confusion with the position of the right back. Now, Roberto Puente hasn't been in the same form ever since he's come back from injury, and as far as Dest, he has a muscle discomfort. Even though Dest would have been crucial, but I don't think either of them is an option right now. So for that, I guess we'll have to shift Mingueza to right back and implement Longley, PK, and Oro in the back three. So that's going to be a problem for us over there. And other than that, as far as injuries are concerned, we're out with Coutinho, Braithwaite, and Fati. And I don't think so either of them would have made any difference given the form, etc. So yeah, it's going to be the same usual lineup that has been for the past few game weeks
So
with
is
Messi and
Dembele?
Griezmann.
Do you expect Dembele to start?
No, I don't think so. Dembele is going to start given Griezmann's recent form. He's been excellent lately. So I guess it's going to be Griezmann and Messi once again in forward, and it's going to be the same usual midfield with Busquets, De Jong, and Pedri. But though Pedri seems really tired, he's just 18 and he's played almost every game this season for La Liga. So I guess it's time Koeman entrusts with Puig, but I don't think so that's going to happen anytime soon because Puig, given last season when we saw him play the last few games, he just knows how to break down a defense. He carries the midfield up front, brings a dynamism in the game, which we don't see quite a lot ever since Xavi Iniesta left. So yeah, So I don't think so. We'll be seeing Puig anytime. We'll be seeing Elias Moriba instead of Pedri if Pedri's taken down in the 60th minute.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Well, that's interesting. Starting Elias Moriba over Puig
Yeah.
or bringing him on over Puig, like that preferential treatment is weird because Puig has been around for longer. Yeah, yeah. Let's move on though. Let's move on to
Yeah,
discuss.
there we have the other half of this puzzle to discuss. This highly intense puzzle of
Yeah,
La Liga, if you would. So the Sevilla Madrid game, Shadab, what are
yeah.
you thinking, man?
This is a toughie, man, especially given our midweek performance. All right, so yeah, the Sevilla Madrid game coming up on Sunday is a tough one, especially given our terrible, depressing performance midweek against Chelsea. So it's going to be difficult. Sevilla is a team who likes to who under Lopetegui, one of our former managers, likes to play that tiki-taka form of football. Lopetegui is doing so well at Sevilla, and I'm so happy for him, especially given that he was sacked from Spain right before the World Cup. He went to Real Madrid, and then he was sacked there like after 2 or 3 months. So I feel bad for him. I always thought he was a good manager, and I thought he wasn't getting given enough time. And so I'm really happy for him, especially after that Europa League win last season. So that was great for him. But he's really rejuvenated Sevilla. Their game tomorrow is going to be tough. They have a very good team who like to play a possession based football, and that might just play into our hands on the basis that there will be more space for the likes of Hazard, Benzema, and Vinicius to exploit. So that might be something that might be like a blessing in disguise, and it might just be the game that we need right now. Right? It's a game that lets us play football the way it's meant to be played. They don't retreat into a low block. They try and attack you. They try and play football, and it's not the game that we would like to have, but it could be the game that we need. It could be the game that rejuvenates us for the rest of the season, and that's something to look forward to.
All right, so it's interesting that you bring up this relationship with their manager. From a Real Madrid perspective, I just want to ask you, this relationship that you have going on with Zidane. I mean, you guys had good times, right? 3 Champions League trophies in a row. That's nothing to joke about. That's insane. Uh, but then recently he hasn't quite been managing to pull off that Champions League form, that same level of dominance. So what do you think? Do you think it's time that they let him go and believe that the magic is gone, or do they hold on to him? Do you think it's come to that place where now it's just a toxic sort of relationship where they're codependent on each other, but actually better off without each other, or do you think it's Zidane still the way to go?
Well, this is a good question, and it's complicated, right? There is so much going on. Firstly, I think we need to take like a macro view to the thing and look at Spanish football as a whole, right? And see how the standard has fallen relative to the Premier League, for example. So a large part of the reason behind the Super League, and I feel like Spanish fans in particular should have backed the Super League, is the fact that there is nowhere near the revenue that is pumped into the Premier League, for example. This puts Premier League clubs on a much better footing. It leads to better investment, it leads to better sporting projects. And you've seen from the likes of Manchester City, PSG, like a steady inflow of money can lead to sustainable sporting projects over time, right? And that's not something that Spanish clubs have, and it's a large reason behind why Spanish fans should have backed the ESL, because clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, they have tremendous debt, and it's just not sustainable to have a successful sporting project over a number of years with that amount of debt. It's just not going to happen. So now that we've taken the macro view on things, let's sort of zoom in and look at Real Madrid, right? The Champions League three-peat that we did win was in large part due to the fact that we were a lot better than Premier League teams, for example, and the other teams from other leagues. But I feel like over time we have declined, but the other clubs have also shown a drastic increase in quality, and that's something that's really hurt us. And this was because of the inflow of money that I spoke about. And so it's really kudos to Zidane that he still managed to pull off like league wins in his first season back. Like that was a great win. But I feel like it might be time for him to leave just because we need we need a rejuvenation. We need a revamp. We need new players. We need youth. We need vibrance. The old guard has been around for way too long, and I feel like they're really good. Like they're probably going to start next season as well. But the likes of Ramos, there is getting old. Cruz, Modric, Casemiro, they need a rest. The injuries this season have been absolutely terrible. I think we've had like north of 50 injuries this season, which is absolutely terrible. Danny Carvajal has barely played this season. It's a really bad situation, and a lot of things are outside Zidane's control. And but I just feel like we need a revamp. We need something to change, and the change has to come from the coach first. I don't think we should sack Zidane. I think he should resign from his own. He should resign at the end of the season, and I think we should go in for a coach that resembles this kind of project, a new vibrant project. I don't think candidates like Joaquim Liu and Mass Allegri are being linked to the club, but I don't think they're the way to go. I think we need to go with someone who's young and who resembles the kind of change we need.
All right, that's interesting. So, you're proposing that Zidane step down himself, and what do you want to do about the players? Because as you said, there's a lot of dead wood. So do you just propose we thin the fat, completely cut them out, chop off the dead wood, and then complete buy your way through this crisis and completely rejuvenate the side by investing in youth, or is it a mixture of both? Do you retain a few of the players with experience, Modric and Cruz, for example, and do you invest in players who aren't completely prospects? Some of them will be, but you bring on someone in the middle, like someone with experience but not completely brand new. What do you think?
Well, I think that the first step would be to get a star, right? We need a star. We need a marquee signing who is a talisman and who can drag us through games where we're not playing well. And that's why it's absolutely essential that we get at least one of Mbappe and Haaland. We have to get at least one, and that's not an option. We have to get at least one. The clubs who do get them, they get a massive boost, just from revenue, but also from a sporting side, in that it increases the player pool. Like more players are going to want to come just because you have the best players paying for you. So it's imperative that we get one of Mbappe and Haaland. That's the first thing we need to do. Secondly,
Uh huh.
about Edward, you mentioned there are a lot of players in our club, the likes of Isco, Mariano. Um, these are players who haven't contributed much, and we need to sort of phase them out. Even Marcelo, we need to phase them out, and while respecting their legacies at the club, of course. We need to phase them out and get new vibrant youth. And so even Castilla, we can even look at Castilla for youth. Like the fact that this player, I don't know if you've heard, but this player called Antonio Blanco is a really up and comer, and he's been playing a couple of La Liga games, and he just fits like a glove into that Real Madrid midfield. He's so composed, and it's yeah, Castilla's another way to go, but we need to really revamp our squad. And oh, by the way, the stadium coming up next year is a massive boost for us as well. The new stadium that we have going, it's going to bring in a lot of revenue as well. So yeah, looking forward to that too.
Yeah, I really think we're about to see a new era, and in terms of the Real Madrid side, and I think it is imperative that you guys do start afresh. I mean, it was don't get me wrong, the old dogs had a great run. I mean, I remember the Real Madrid of old, and they were absolutely unstoppable. Every single FIFA career mode that I started, uh, first team would probably be Real Madrid, just because of how great that squad was. So yeah, it's really sad that they need to go, but I understand the significance of getting new blood cannot be undermined. And to that effect, I think you guys need to implement those changes. Coming to this weekend, though, how do you quickly before we move on? How do you see yourself setting up for the big Sevilla game?
So I suspect that we revert back to our 4-3-3. There are doubts about Ramos again because I think he's injured. Ramos, Valverde, and Vinicius too. So I think it's Courtois with Militao and Nacho in defense. Odriozola and Mendy take the fullback positions. We go with a Cruz, Casemiro, Valverde. Valverde is injured. Cruz, Casemiro, Modric midfield again. Just because it's just terrible, man. Like our injury situation is really bad. So I hope Valverde trains today, so he's able to make it tomorrow. But I would go Cruz, Modric, Casemiro, and Hazard, Benzema, and Asensio because I think Vinicius has played a lot, and I think he's like injured a little bit. So yeah.
All right, that's a good formation to go with. So that concludes our things for that concludes our wrap up for the La Liga side of things. Also noteworthy for this weekend, we have a fixture that we will see 5 times by the end of the season. But this weekend in the Premier League, we have the Chelsea Manchester City game, and that's an insanely important game, right? Because not only have we seen the home and away fixtures for Chelsea and Man City, we've seen them meet once in the League Cup as well, and we were going to see them meet in the Champions League final, and again we're going to see them meet this weekend. So I'm really excited for that game because Chelsea have shown that they're capable of being a side that stand up to Manchester City. Because right now Manchester City is sort of like a bully in terms of the Premier League table, right? They just completely trample any side that stands up to them, except for Manchester United, of course. But yeah, Chelsea has shown that they're capable of standing up to Manchester City, and I hope that they continue to do that in terms of the Champions League. So I'm very interested to see how this weekend's fixture is going to go. Um, a curious tactic we might see from Tuchel is to put up a not so strong side for Chelsea this weekend, just to sort of get Manchester City under a false sense of security, and then go all guns blazing in the Champions League final, because that's obviously more important, and completely take them out. So that's an interesting aspect that I will be looking forward to this weekend in the Champions League. Sorry, in the Premier League. The other notable mentions for this week are the Leeds and Spurs game. I doubt any of them have much of a significance when it comes to the top four race, but still, it's a unique fixture. It's a fixture of great importance. It has been throughout the decades, and I'm looking forward to that as well. Other than that, in the context of the top four, we have Liverpool Southampton, and that's Liverpool still have slim hopes of getting into the top four, and if they want to hold that up, they're gonna have to beat every single opposition that they have from now on. So if Chelsea do slip up, West Ham, Liverpool, and maybe Everton will be looking to capitalize on that. Leicester City dropped points yesterday, and that's crucial to the top four race, because we all know that they bottled a 9-point lead last year. So it's important that all sides stay sharp and don't give up hope for the top four. But before we conclude this week's roundup, I want to throw this question out to my respective co-hosts and just ask you guys, as usual, as per tradition, what are your predictions? So, Abhigan, I'm going to go to you for the Barcelona game. What are your predictions
Yeah.
for that match?
For me, a win is a must, so I'll go with 1-0 Barca.
All right, 1-0 Barcelona. Sure, the Sevilla match.
Uh, this is a toughie, man. I think it goes 2-0 Real Madrid.
2-0 Real Madrid.
But
That's
I think the scoreline flatters us. I think we scrapped through with one goal in like the 70th minute, and then when they go for the goal, I think we hit them back with another goal in like the 87th minute or something like that.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's pretty it's not uncommon in football for a side to have a completely terrible run of form, and then out of nowhere, after a really big loss, they just, like, you
Yeah.
guys just got knocked out of the Champions League, right? So we might, for some reason, sides tend to perform well after they get knocked out of the Champions League. Speaking myself as a Manchester United fan, but yeah, we might just see a completely rejuvenated we might see a completely rejuvenated Real Madrid side, and they might take you by surprise. So I don't think that 2-0 scoreline is too optimistic. But on that note, we're gonna end the session here. Thank you guys for listening. I'm Zahar. It's been a pleasure being your host. See ya.